Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel as always. Guys, inflation is coming.
Whenever I talk about inflation, I am reminded of a wonderful story about the man who decided to take advantage of the growing science of cryogenics. That's the science of freezing people up so that they can be in deep freeze for a time and then restored to life. And he got himself put into the deep freeze for a 20-year period. And of course, before he went into the deep freeze, he left all his securities and his worldly belongings at his brokers with instructions to do the best he could for him. And 20 years later, after the deep freeze had worked, he was unthawed and came out of the deep freeze. And of course, the first thing he did was to run to the telephone to call his broker. And his broker said to him, "Well, you know, you're a millionaire many times over." "Oh, really?" said the man. "What happened to this stock?" And the broker said it went from here to here, multiplied 10 times, 20 times. "What happened to this stock?" He kept on going. But suddenly the telephone operator interrupted him. The man was just ecstatic. Telephone operator interrupted and said, "Sorry, your 3 minutes are up. That'll be $250,000 for the next 3 minutes, please." That's real inflation.
So guys, that was Milton Friedman talking about, basically making a joke about inflation and the power of inflation, what it can do to purchasing power over longer periods of time. And I just highly recommend checking out Milton Friedman's stuff, guys. It's insane. It's an incredible economist, does the real deep dive, and you can learn a lot from this guy. The guys I kind of watch is like Ron Paul, Milton Friedman. I would even say Mike Maloney's up there. He's a legend as well. Shout out to you guys. Obviously, Milton's not alive anymore, but yeah, I highly recommend checking out his content on YouTube. You can check it out, and all his written stuff as well. But guys, let's talk about inflation, because this is nothing new. Every single society has gone through this at some point, whether it was the Romans, whether it was the Ottomans, whether it was the French Revolution, whether, looking at America now, you look at Venezuela, look at Turkey. No country or civilization, even Egypt as well, no real civilization has really been able to get rid of this disease. And it basically is a disease, inflation, which comes around. It's kind of like it's kind of like built into humans that we want to get cheap, fast money. We want to just have things now. We don't want to wait till tomorrow. We want it now. And what's the best way of doing that? It's increasing the supply of the money. And you can't do that with gold. That's why gold it's the best form of money for thousands of years. Like for 5,000 years, gold has never changed. You can't change the element of gold. We all know this. I'm not going to go into the gold stuff, because we know that gold is sound money. It's the best money there'll ever be. But why is inflation always coming around? Why haven't we learned from this? Why haven't we why is the world carry on going down this treacherous road, this disease, and destroying our economies through inflation? That's what we're going to talk about for about 5-10 minutes in this video. I'm going to ramble at you guys and talk about inflation and go through a whole load of stuff. So let's just start with the definition of inflation. All inflation means is an increase of supply. So very recently, the example is this: coronavirus hits, all these companies are like, oh my God, we're going to go insolvent, we're going to lose our businesses, everyone's going to lose their jobs. So what the government did in America, they printed 20 trillion more dollars, still happening right now. And what they did is they redirected those dollars to specific companies to keep them alive so people don't lose their jobs in the long run. Whether that's right or wrong, and I definitely think it's wrong, what that basically means is there's going to be an accounting for all of those new dollars. It's very, very difficult to know exactly how many dollars there are in circulation in the world, because obviously we live on the dollar standard, the global dollar standard. It's difficult to know exactly how many dollars there are, but we know that $20 trillion is a fair amount of money when you look at the ratio between the amount of debt America has, which is about $25 trillion right now. So in one way or the other, that money is going to dilute the circulation of dollars. In turn, prices are going to rise. And what we did is it's like cheap money. Instead of going through the horrible, disgusting foreclosure of all of these massive businesses, what happened is the government, the Federal Reserve went, and obviously the people in a way, obviously the Fed isn't really tied to the people, but what they've done is they've taken the cheap option, they printed these dollars to keep these companies alive. So it's basically like a disease of human beings. We want to make sure it's easy to get that money. Like we all want things today, and it is a kind of societal kind of problem, but I don't really believe you can blame the average day consumer about this. It's more about governments thinking and institutions which have power to influence government coming in and having their say and pushing this money, which is this free money, this free pot of money, pushing in the direction of their own agenda and their own benefit. So it's a very difficult one, guys. And like in this video, guys, I want you to comment below because this is a big topic. But inflation is coming, guys, because like we just saw, Milton Friedman said, you can't get a free lunch. It doesn't work. So this money, which they printed, is going to come around to bite everybody else. And there's a whole host of other things which will happen as well, because every other country holds dollars, right, as reserves as well. So but when the government in America print, they still purchasing power from everybody else. You know, at the end of the day, like if you hold $100,000 and there's only $1 million in the circulation, and then you know you own 10% of that economy, but then if the government go and print another million, you indirectly basically lose half your wealth because they've gone and printed another whole million. So what it's going to do is it's going to completely jumble up the economy. And what I want to do is, guys, is wing this around to obviously cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, because obviously this channel is about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So we know that inflation raises prices, and it does in general raises prices of the economy. And what it's going to raise prices of the most, and the most drastically, is the hardest assets in an economy. So what's a hard asset? An asset which is difficult to produce and it has scarcity, right? Or a fixed scarce supply, whatever it is. So things like farmland, things like gold, things like Bitcoin, which is the hardest money we've ever had, because we don't even know how much gold there is in the ground. Like obviously gold is a hard money because it's very difficult to mine gold. You have to have all these machines, and it actually creates you need labor to get it out of the ground, which creates the base floor of value. But we don't know how much is in the ground, guys. If someone finds another whole 100,000 tons of gold tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of price fluctuations, or just value. What the purchasing power of gold will fluctuate. So we know that there's only 21 million Bitcoin, guys. So in my personal opinion, I don't really think it's opinion, really. It's more economical. It's kind of mathematical. If the government print 20 trillion more dollars, what's going to happen to Bitcoin? Basically, guys, the orange coin is going to go up a lot. And also, guys, you've got to remember that Bitcoin isn't really used very much in the world today. Like gold is, it's a $10 trillion market cap. So if inflation, spurs on and starts raising the price of hard assets, and then more and more people see the price of Bitcoin going up quite a lot in comparison to other assets because it's such a small amount of liquidity in it from the world. So think about the world as an ocean of money, right? Bitcoin's just a tiny pond. And when that ocean wants to get poured into the pond, that pond ain't going to be a pond anymore. It's going to be a lake, then it's going to be a freaking sea, and then it's going to be an ocean. So then you're going to see more people even more interested in Bitcoin. So I'm kind of rambling on this video, guys. I'm kind of just throwing it out there, but I believe that inflation is coming, guys. And what's it going to do? It's going to raise hard assets insanely. Please comment below, guys. I want to hear what you have to say. And I just wanted to put this video out there because I thought that little clip from Milton Friedman was really powerful. And also, there's a whole lot of other content he does as well. You should just look at all of it. He does like talk shows. I've just been binge watching Milton Friedman for probably about the last year or so now. But yeah, no, guys, that I kind of wanted to get that out there. That's what's going to happen, guys. In my opinion, comment below, guys. What do you think is going to happen to the cryptocurrency you love? More importantly, all of us are into Bitcoin. Most of us, anyway. What do you think it's going to do to the price of Bitcoin? So, guys, inflation's coming. $20 trillion is a lot of moolah. It's going to move it. So, guys, like I always say, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to keep getting this kind of content. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day, guys. Cheers.